Sticking with the International Women's Day theme, I'm delighted to say we're now joined by Cherie Blair, the founder of the Cherie Blair Foundation for Women. Thank you for being with us. Happy International Women's Day.
And same to you, Sophie.
Are you worried that it's all going to be overshadowed by coronavirus?
Absolutely not. I think that that International Women's Day is a very special day in the calendar where we remember the terrific strength of women and also the fact that they're still not able to play their full role in society.
You say there about not being able to play their full role in society, and I know that you've been doing a lot of work on the kind of economic inequality that women face. What exactly does that mean?
Well, I think it's very clear. If you look at the World Economic Forum Global Gender Gap, and they measure whether women and men are having equal access to opportunity, this year the report showed that in relation to economic opportunities, actually the situation for women had deteriorated. And so the narrowing the gender gap is now going to take 257 years, which is 55 years longer than the year before. And the reason for that is a number of things. Firstly, women are often concentrated in low-pay, low-skilled factory jobs that are increasingly becoming automated. Then on top of that, the new jobs that are being created are STEM jobs, science, technology, and women are underrepresented in those fields, so they're missing out on the old type of jobs and not gaining the new kind of jobs. And there's the perennial, of course, women have the greater burden of the caring responsibilities in the family still. And then finally, it's about attitudes to women. The cultural, the social, and indeed in some places, the legal barriers to the perception of what women can and cannot do.
What kind of thing can make a difference to this? What could be done to benefit women economically?
Well, I think it's about recognising that women can do, not the idea that because you're a woman, there are things you can't do. It's interesting, my foundation has published some research today about the women we're working with, and so many of them, nearly 3/4 of them, had experienced some kind of sexual stereotyping, particularly the idea that women can't do business.
Have you experienced something like that yourself in your career?
Well, somehow or other, I tell you what I did experience, and that is the experience of my mother and my grandmother, where for them, the opportunities were much less than I had when I was first entering the market in the 70s. But even then, you know, you would go as a young lawyer and they'd say, oh, we don't take women here because women aren't really suitable to be certainly barristers and advocates. Or they'd say, actually, we do have a woman, so obviously we couldn't possibly have more than one.
We've already ticked that box, so...
We've already ticked that box. But, you know, for the women entrepreneurs, you find that apparently they're told women don't do business, or women can't manage money, or women are not ambitious enough to make good business people. Well, when you think around the world how women actually mostly manage the finances of the family, the idea that women don't do money is ridiculous.
You were talking a bit earlier about how things are getting worse when it comes to gender equality. Does it feel like the world's going backwards, and why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's absolutely the case in economic empowerment it's going backwards, and it's interesting. The gap is narrowing in education and health, but then you look actually where the power is, Sophie, politics and economics. In politics, you know, there's less than 3 women for every 10 men in political life. And in the economic field, it's like 6 women to 10 men. So you can see that where the power is, it's still very difficult for women to break through.
Are you disappointed then that it looks like we're going to see an all-male slug out again in the US presidential election?
Well, you know, in the end, what's important, I think, is that we see more women role models. And whether you've got... I mean, obviously, I am a huge supporter of Hillary Clinton. I'd love to have seen her president of America, but the fact is she still remains a role model. And if we look around the world, women speaking up, women leaders in whatever field they are, more women in politics, all of these things are important. Whether you get to the top job or not is a combination, I think, of luck and talent.
And how about the Labour leadership? You knew I was going to ask. Would you like to see a female leader?
Well, similarly, it's a combination of luck and talent, and the most important thing is that we have seen that women can do the job, that women are prepared to put themselves forward to the job, job, and in the end, the contest will be who the membership think the best person is to win.
Is it always about luck and talent? Because some women looking at this might think, actually, you know what, I'm not sure if it is always luck and talent, because there's never been a female leader of the Labour Party. Maybe something else is coming into it as well.
You're talking again, I think, about perceptions, about the same as I was saying, you know, women can't be advocates, or the same as our business women find when they say women don't take business seriously. I mean, yes, there are societal assumptions about what women can do, what men can't do. And the more we see women breaking free of those constraints, the more we will see other young women coming up behind them saying, she can do it, I can do it. And I think that's why role models are so very important.
Who's your role model then?
I have a number of role models. When I was a young lawyer starting out, Rose Halbron, the first woman to become a QC, was from Liverpool like me, and in a mad sort of moment I thought, well, if one girl from Liverpool can do it, so can I. But then, you know, when I became a QC in '95, I was still only number 74. So from 1949, when Rose was the first QC, to me in 1995, there was only another 73 women.
Blimey.
And in the first, up until the 1970s, only 5.
And then, just finally, you, of course, performed one of the roles or jobs that I always think would be one of the most difficult to do as the kind of Prime Minister's spouse. And you, of course, had a baby in number 10 as well, Kerry Simmons and Boris Johnson expecting their first child. Would you give any advice to Kerry Simmons on the madness of what that must be like? I
don't think that Kerry needs any advice to me. She must do what is right for her. But for everyone expecting the first baby, it's both exciting and a real challenge, and I wish her well.
And are you relieved to be out of the job now, or do you miss it a little bit?
It was a great privilege to live in number 10 and to have that front row seat on politics. But I do have more freedom now to say what I think and to go after the causes I care in, including, of course, women's economic empowerment, to make sure that when a woman has her own money, she can make the choices which otherwise are denied her, because money talks in this world and money gives you choices. So go for it.
OK, thank you very much. Cherie Blair there on International Women's Day. Thank you.